Yay! Good morning and welcome into the Ron Ross Radio Show podcast. It's a 1 minute past 11. We're a little late here on the East Coast, and it is Tuesday, and it's May 7th already. Oh, that's right, because it was April 30th last week. Okay, so that's how the calendar
works. Yeah.
I'm Ron Ross. He is John Yaglensky, the executive producer, partner in crime, and I got a cough button.
Nice. Running late, feeling great here on the Ron Ross Radio Show podcast.
Okay.
Right.
Speaking of the cough, so I had to get that addressed because the cough has been pretty bad for a while.
Okay.
So I went to the doctor yesterday, and she's thinking it's walking pneumonia. Hold on.
So you're walking and you have pneumonia. I never understood what that meant, actually, like how that worked, whether,
Well, you don't feel bad enough to be in bed, I guess, is my assumption.
Okay.
Because they don't have any other symptoms. There's no fever. There's no nothing. Oh, my gosh. Hang on. Hold on.
Everyone take a collective sip of your beverages, whether it be coffee, little iced tea, as it were, in my super large cup here, far away from my mixing board. But yeah.
It's lovely to watch. I know you can't hear it, but I'm sure it's lovely to watch on the web camera as well.
It is. I'm enjoying
video.
it. I'm enjoying it. This may be the John Yaglensky show.
So she's thinking, yeah, maybe. So she's thinking that it's walking pneumonia. So she gave me an antibiotics, and also she gave me this cough medicine. I looked up the all of the side effects, and I've decided I'm not going to take it. I'll just go with like Robitussin or whatever, because there are some serious side effects, and now obviously kids can get a hold of the drug, but if it's immediately fatal for a child. I'm like, oh my goodness. So hang on.
This may be the shortest podcast in the Ron Ross Radio
I'm
show.
sure. I think it's all in my head. I've been perfectly fine until just now. And I thought, oh gosh, I hope I don't cough in the middle of this whole thing. And I think I got it. But anyway, then I had to go for a chest X-ray this morning, which was fine. So just to see what's going on, and hoping against hope it's not anything more serious, because I haven't really experienced anything else. It's just been this.
Seems like you said, some sort of
let's hope some sort of upper respiratory. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thing.
So we'll get rid of that. Okay, but I didn't. So there's Jennifer Scannell, who is greeting us online, and you can do that too in your comment section on both Facebook and on YouTube, and of course you can always listen to this wherever you get your favorite podcasts. I've been listening back. It's funny, in the car on the on the iPhone, it's got podcast. You just click the podcast button.
You got that, or you got
boom, and there it is.
Podcast apps, and one that comes built in your phone. But that's
and I have a new podcast that I want to tell you about, and I'll post the link to it. Yeah, well, it's an amalgamation. It's all of the celebrity interviews that I've done over the past year on Key 103, the radio station where I work, and 106.9 The Eagle. So all of these great acts come into play in Charlestown. 1 second.
There it is.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've interviewed people from 38 Special, great classic rock bands like that. I just interviewed a gentleman from Little River Band, stuff like that. So anyway, that you can find under just look up Ronversations.
Really?
Ronversations.
Oh man, he's going solo.
Conversation with Ron Ross.
No, it's breaking up.
It's just these interviews. No, not at all. Not at all. This is my priority. Okay. This is
it's fine.
I enjoy doing this. But anyway, you can find those wherever they are. Let's see. Jim says I'm going to start counting those coughs. Up to 6.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that, by the way. I love your posting on the Cinco de Mayo post as well.
Goodness.
Jim posted a joke.
Okay.
Yes, Jennifer, thank you very much. Love it. Rhymeversations. Yes, Rhymeversations.
Conversation.
And that was one of those, I named it purely by accident because my buddy Steve at the radio station who was putting it all together, and he called it this, and it's backstage, and it's stage view, side, whatever. We were coming up with all kinds of many things. So he just put together this whole graphic and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And then he went home. He said, bye, I'll see you. And about an hour later, I just was like, wait a minute. And I texted him and said, what about Rhymeversations? And he showed it to his wife, and she goes, you're gonna have to redo everything.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. That's where it is.
Oh, sorry.
So I got to talk to Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and I will be talking to Kev Moe, great blues guitarist, coming up in a little bit too. So I'm grateful for the opportunity because they all play at the Charlestown races. What is it called? Hollywood Casino at Charlestown. So it's a great concert venue there, and they're coming into town, and they want to do press, so they talk to me. And
that's right. You're the guy.
I'm trying to get Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley, original guitarist, lead guitarist in Kiss.
Not Frehley.
No, it's Frehley.
I know.
Spelled like an A.
That's why I brought it up.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So he's
forever. Everyone said it wrong, except for fans, of course.
But. Right. Exactly. Everybody knew it was Ace Frehley. So he's coming. So hopefully I'll be able to talk to him. But we're trying to get him. I want to know what his focus is, because if he doesn't want to talk about Kiss, I'm not going to talk about Kiss. I'll talk about 5,000 other things, like his gear or whatever. But if he wants to talk about Kiss, I will talk about Kiss. Kiss is
Don't you think it'd be a little weird if he came around and then didn't want to talk? I mean, it's like
no, I don't think that's weird at all. He did. No. He answered he's got a new album out.
Right. So you got to talk about that too. But he's
been solo longer than he was ever in Kiss.
I mean, I get that, but
no.
But
he's done. There's nothing new.
Sorry.
That he could possibly say about being in Kiss. You all know about his.
What? But stop
his audition.
Stop the podcast. Hold on. So he said all that he could possibly say to other people, and not everyone's heard that. I kind of object to people who, it's kind of like on Facebook and stuff where you're in these groups and you ask a question, right?
Okay.
And they're like, search the archives, dude. Like, use the search function, but no, these groups exist so that you can actually, learn something new and interact with people and have people be helpful. It's the same thing like with these artists. They just want to move on from it, but it is part of their past. And even if you as a fan know all that stuff, there are other people and new fans out there who maybe don't know about it.
Okay.
So that's my
I agree, and that makes sense. And every artist I've talked to has all talked about their past. I mean, I found out how 38 Special got their name. I mean, it was good. And they could not be cooler. Just could not be cooler.
That's
because they know what side of the bread is buttered, and they're trying to get butts in the seats, which is why they're talking to me. And I mean, I get that. So
whole new generation of fans too coming up. You have to realize all these classic rock artists are getting new people, like where their parents introduced them to it or whatever, and they're going to shows. And,
are they?
Yeah, I think so.
You get a lot of youngsters at a 38 Special concert.
You get a nice mix.
Yeah, maybe
probably about 70-30, 75-25, probably, with the old people versus the. But I always see when I go out to. I mean, I've seen some classic rock artists, from Styx to REO to Alan Parsons, even. And
wow, you saw Alan Parsons?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I made a point to see Alan Parsons because I was like, he's coming to Jacksonville. I have to go see him because it was amazing too.
I bet it was.
But I mean, so technically proficient. But my point being, I always see a bunch of youngsters in the crowd too, whose parents have introduced them to the music and they're into it. And so, that's what I'm just saying. You're always trying to onboard some new fans because, quite frankly, your older fans are dying off.
Well, And
I hate to bring up.
I never understood this. By the way, none of this is on the agenda that we were supposed to talk about.
No, we went
Which is what I love about the
Wow.
show.
Okay.
The whole show so far has been I digress. 11 minutes into it, and
11 minutes of
we're not talking about a single thing that I wanted to talk about.
Sorry.
But no, don't apologize.
Sorry.
So, because I like going down this road, because
Okay.
it actually takes me into National Concert Day,
Okay.
yeah,
good.
which is today.
Look at that.
But I oh gosh,
Where
what
were
was
you
I gonna
going?
say? Oh. So I think this is brilliant. Greatest show I've ever does not buy into it, even in the least, and she doesn't like it. And that is the Rolling Stones are on tour right now. The Rolling Stones,
Right.
or what's left of them. All right.
Yeah.
Are on tour. It's Keith and Mick, and then
Right.
and Ron Wood, and everybody else is a session player.
Right. Sponsored
by AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons.
Right. Classic. Awesome.
I don't have a problem with that.
No,
I'm thinking somebody in their 50s, because you have to be 50 to become a member of AARP.
Right.
So somebody 50 is going to be on the low end, or I'm sorry, on the high end,
right,
of a fan of the Rolling Stones. At least will be aware or know who the Rolling Stones are. Right. That means you had to turn 50 in 1974 or 73. Okay. Or born in 73.
Got it.
All right. So if you were born in 73, 74, Rolling Stones, I mean, you're hitting 70s Stones, but you've got 10 years of Stones before that, before you were even born.
Right.
Which means your fans, your base, if you're a Rolling Stone, is going to be in their 60s and 70s.
Right.
We went to a great Beatles tribute band called 1964, the tribute. And they do the Mop Top Beatles, and they don't do anything else. They go up to like Rubber Soul, and then that's it. None of the Sgt. Pepper's or psychedelic stuff or any of that stuff. No Get Back or Hey Jude or Come Together. None of that. It's all I Want to Hold Your Hand, She Loves You, and all that stuff, right? All the Mop Top stuff. And we went to see them, and they were note perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at the back of the venue, which is how I recommend you go see them, because if you don't want to get up close, because these gentlemen are not spring chickens. So
look better from a distance.
Well, they've got the mop top wig on, and you're like, oh my God, he's a great grandfather.
Yeah.
So, but still, they're note perfect and they're wonderful. And my greatest wife ever is like, it's the middle of Twist and Shout. Shake it up, baby. Shake it up. And we're in the back row, and we're standing, we're dancing, and she's like, why is everybody sitting? I'm like, honey, we were born in 64.
Right.
They were, they were teenagers. Okay. Yeah. So they're in their 70s.
Right.
They're not getting up for anything.
There'll be no twisting and shouting.
Twisting, you're going to pull something.
Right.
So
my lumbago.
No. It was a great show, but you had to, and there were some young people there. There were some younger people there.
I'm just imagining the corporate boardroom where it came up, like everyone sitting around the table and going, all right, well, the Stones are coming on tour. I've got this great idea. Hey, we sponsor the Rolling Stones tour. Can you imagine? Like, I would have liked to have seen the reaction. And there's some guy at the corner of the table. Oh, are you kidding me? It's the worst idea I've ever heard. And now it's going to be successful. Johnson, you're fired.
No guy at the end of the table said that. I guarantee you they were all on board, because if it wasn't them, then Aerosmith's farewell tour, which is Aerosmith's doing a farewell tour. ELO's doing a farewell tour.
Yeah, I saw that.
All of these great artists are saying, Foreigner doing their last tour. Although I don't know if there's
Are they really?
Yeah.
There's only one guy left. I mean,
is there? I don't even know if Mick Jones is playing with him.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
I don't think there's a single original member of Foreigner in Foreigner, which makes them a tribute band.
You could say that.
Does it?
But like, Yes has evolved over the years to the point where there are very few original members. There might be one left. I think Steve Howe's the only. I don't even know if he was an original member.
That would be a project to track all the different versions of Yes.
There is. They go look up the Yes family tree. And it does. It literally tracks everybody. And it's like a big tree of where they went and the bands that started as a result of that. It's crazy.
Asia, RTZ.
Right. I mean, you could cut the Buggles.
Names ago. Well, the Buggles were before they were in Yes, which is, here's what's amazing to me.
I know, but you have to tie that.
Because I listened to that album and I thought, wait a minute, they got the two guys from the Buggles. Video Killed the Radio Star. Video
right.
It was Jeff Downs
and Trevor Horn.
Trevor Horn
produced Yes on later albums. Actually produced their most successful album.
See, okay, you're getting ahead of me on that.
Go ahead.
I go back and listen to it. I'm like, there's no way this is going to sound like it. It actually totally sounds like a very progressive rock Yes album. And Jeff Downs was the vocals, right? Which
Trevor Horn was. Trevor
was
Horn's
he?
vocals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nobody can sound like John Anderson. All right, John Anderson. And by the way, I have to mention this because this is something my best friend George, and I love him like a brother.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for almost 30 years. Okay. And he's of that, he loves Yes. Doesn't like Rush, which is like,
that's kind of odd.
What's going on? He tolerates it, but it's never really a Rush fan. Anyway, he liked all that progressive stuff, and he played bass, and Chris Squire from Yes is one of his heroes. And but every time I say yes, amen, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Every time I say Yes or John Anderson, he has to say voice of an angel. Which was I get it. That was a review. It was a review, and they called John Anderson.
He comes off very angelic on stage too.
No, he does.
The videos. So.
Just like every time I hand him a knife, he says, "That's not a knife. This is a knife." He says it every. He does it to me every time.
Why does he do it? I don't know.
I love it. I know. I don't. We sent him a picture one time, Jenny and I. Greatest Wife Ever and I were at, I don't know, Kmart. We're in the camping section. And so I took a picture of, back in the day. Wow. I took a picture of her with a small knife, right? And sent it to him. And her going like this. And then I took a picture of her with a machete. Like, there you go. And he never texted back to us like, what are you talking about? What happened? Anyway, all right.
Sometimes we just do the show for us, guys.
I digress. All right. So talking about Yes. So listening to that album, I was amazed with Trevor Horn. So then Trevor Horn, and not to be confused with Trevor Rabin, who
was the other Trevor that came to the group.
Brought Yes into the 80s with their
band Cinema.
Huge top 40 hit album 90124 5. Which, by the way, it got the name. I know where it got its name.
I know.
Okay, it's the catalog number of the album.
Yeah, it's the PC code.
Yeah. On the side, 90125.
Right,
is the name of the album. But that had the big hits, "Owner of a Lonely Heart" and all that stuff. And that was, and that's Trevor Rabin who was singing along with
John Anderson.
Yeah.
On that album. But the album before that was Drama, where Trevor Horn stepped in for John Anderson. Yeah, we're getting a little, again, in the weedies.
Deep in the weeds. And I apologize.
Trevor Horn produced Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and one of my favorite albums of all time, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome.
Oh, wow. Did he really? Wow.
Oh gosh, okay. It is so expertly produced. It's not even funny.
All right. So today is National Concert Day, and I just read an article that said that David Gilmour, who's the lead guitarist or was lead guitarist of Pink Floyd, is going out on tour, said he's not going to play Pink Floyd's biggest hits from the 70s. He might do one or two tracks from the 60s, like really obscure tracks, and maybe something from Division Bell, which was in the 80s.
Which was just him.
Yeah.
Really, at that point.
Right. It was just him and nobody else in Pink Floyd. But he's not. And he has said this before he goes out on tour. So you're not going to. Fair warning. So you're not going to sit there and be disappointed.
Right.
Because I can't think of a time that I was really disappointed in a concert, except for, and I should have known. Okay,
Mhm.
in
Which
the 80s,
can't wait.
Neil Young, and I loved Neil
Oh,
Young, and I
right.
learned how to play guitar with the Neil Young songbook, and
Huh.
I knew all of the Heart of Gold and Needle in the Damage Done, and I Am a Child, and Old Man, and
Yeah,
trust me, all of those songs. I learned how to play them all. I
yeah.
couldn't sing them, but frankly, neither can he. And
Good point.
and
Fair,
he's just
fair.
got one of those voices. It's there. So I went to go see him in the 80s. He came out with an album called Trans, and he went electronic.
Hmm.
And he had one song that was released to radio. He redid. He used to be in Buffalo Springfield, and he redid a song called Mr. Soul. Now in the 60s, Mr. Soul is Neil Young. Hello, Mr. Soul. But he redid it as this electronic thing. So I went to see the Trans tour. Almost walked out because I should have known. Of course,
What?
he did the whole album, and it was all electronic, and not once did he pull out his guitar and do "Hey Hey My" or any of that stuff. So that's on me. I mean, I should have known. He didn't announce it, but I mean, anybody could have, from 100,000 feet in the air, going to say, "Yeah, no, he's not going to be playing any of his hits." So
It is a disappointment though. Like I went to go see with our
That was-
friend Shane Gamble, went to see Don Henley
yeah.
in concert. Don don't do no Eagles.
Well,
He-
no.
He
Well,
don't
see,
do no Eagles, son.
well,
He
now
just
I
does
okay.
the,
Hang on,
I
time out.
thought at least maybe he'd do maybe a song, like just
No, I
like
knew that.
one song.
No, I knew that. I saw his Building the Perfect Beast tour in
Right.
the 80s, and that's the one with
Can I
the
get
big
it?
hits that
It's
had the Boys of Summer, and
Right.
he had 2 solo albums by then.
Dirty Laundry and
The first album, right, I Can't Stand Still, and he played a
Yeah.
bunch of tracks off of that,
Mhm.
and then he did, played almost the whole album of Building the Perfect Beast, which was a
Right.
great.
It was.
There are a lot of stuff.
Admittedly.
Sunset Grill and what is it? Boys of Summer. What's the other one? All She Wants to Do Is Dance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Actually, the song "Building a Perfect Beast" is a great song. Building. But anyway, I knew that. I just assumed
you did.
I didn't think I was going to hear Hotel California or
I
anything.
thought maybe he'd play like one song, maybe.
No.
Like just one, just kind of fun. Maybe it was part of the encore, be like, I'm going to throw it in as a bone to the fans. Nope.
No. Nope.
Well, you knew that. I did not know that. That was the point. So you went to Neil Young and thought you were going to hear some guitar playing, and it didn't happen.
I tell you what, the one thing that one show that where I was not disappointed,
Okay.
and it's the last big concert that I've seen.
Yeah.
And the greatest one ever actually was the catalyst in doing that, because she heard the ad on the radio and she thought, okay, we have to go to the show. And that's Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters did not disappoint in any, and then every song, it's 2 hours plus, and you're going, oh, I know that song. Well, oh yeah, I know that song. Oh, that's a great song. It was, what was it? I missed it. I was talking
ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. You're doing the Christopher Walken. Okay, I get it. That's funny.
I did that live. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he introduced him. Look it up.
Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. Yeah, like, I think that was Dave that told him. Yeah, the emphasis, Christopher, is on the second syllable. So he like goofed him, and he did it. Foo Fighters. It's so funny.
That's very good.
It is good. It's funny.
But so my question I want to throw to you, if you want to put it down in the comment section, or you could call us if you like. The number still works, by the way, which is 240-415-9090. 240-415-9090.
Yes.
And that is, was there a show that you went to?
Yeah.
That well, I have 2 questions, but let's do the first one. What was the first concert you ever went to, since it's National Concert Day?
Okay.
Chris just posted, I was disappointed in seeing the band Journey. It's not the same when they changed the lead singer. No, it's not. And Chris, I'll say this, and they've continued on, and Neil Sean's a great guitar player, and all the other guys in the band, but every other singer that they've had after Steve Perry is imitating Steve Perry.
Sure.
There's only one reason they're getting new so they can tour, is getting somebody, hey, can you sing Faithfully? Can you sing all of this Steve Perry stuff? If you can't sing that, you're not in the band. That's
Dean
that's all there is to it.
Castronovo does a heck of a Steve Perry from Behind the Kit.
Who is it? Oh yeah, he
Dean
sings.
Castronovo, yeah, who
What
was
was he
also
singing?
in Generation Radio, which is a band with a guy from Rascal Flatts and former lead singer of Chicago as well.
Wow.
Look them up.
Okay.
That's a cool power band right there.
So, what's the first concert you ever saw? John, you go first.
Hooters at my high school. The Hooters.
Shut the front door. Really?
Yeah, at my high school.
Why were they playing your high school?
They did before they became famous. They were a band in Philadelphia, and they toured. They did a local high school tour, and they played my high school gymnasium. Now, admittedly, it's a big gym. Like ours was like double the size of normal gymnasiums. But yeah, so there I saw them before they hit big, before Nervous Night. Yep.
That was that was my follow-up question, which was, is there anybody you saw before they became big? Now, go back to the original question. I always say that the first concert I saw was Kiss at the Capitol Center in July 7th, 1979.
Yes.
When I was 13 years old, and the ticket cost $13, and it was scandalous. And it was the loudest concert I've ever seen. I only knew what their opening song was because I heard Paul Stanley on WPGC earlier that day say it was King of the Nighttime World. If he hadn't have said that, I wouldn't have known it because it was so loud. It was the threshold of pain. It was that's not an exaggeration. That's what it sounded like.
I believe you.
It was bad. And I wanted it to be good. It was not good.
But it was
bad. It was bad. It was the spectacle. It was Kiss, and they were right there, and I was amazed and all that stuff, but it was so loud and it hurt. And it was no point. Why?
I've been at one of those too. But you know what I will say? So my first which I would say real concert in a real concert setting, was Chicago on the 17 tour. Stay the Night, and
you love those guys. You love Chicago.
I love Chicago. Yeah, the Bighorn section. I do. Actually, I talked. We went backstage. My wife, other greatest wife ever, and I, during my radio days at WARX 106.9, I went backstage at a Chicago concert and got to meet Jason Scheff and Bill Champlin. Yeah. It's cool. One of the big moments of my life. one of the few takeaways from working at Magic. One of those good moments compared to parts where I got fired. My
No, but I tell people my first concert was Kiss, but actually my first concert was John Denver in 1973. Nice. Rocky Mountain High. My parents, they loved him, and it was my brother and me, and it was before Greg, my younger brother, was born, so it had to have been before 73.
Yeah, that's
at the Richmond Coliseum, and I wore a coat and tie to the Richmond Coliseum because we were going to a show.
That's awesome.
Dad had a coat and tie on. Mom wore a nice dress.
I love it.
Both of us had, and we were in the back, and there were no big screens, so we sat there with the binoculars. Dad brought binoculars from work. I don't know why he had binoculars at work. And we had these binoculars, and you could see. So it took John Denver from this to this.
Yeah.
You're moving around, and but still, John Denver.
I was in the nosebleeds for Chicago. So, I mean, I can remember we were in the upper deck of the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
too. So
way up and on the side. Actually, your wife and I, she wasn't your wife at the time.
There we go.
Went to see U2. We saw U2.
Oh,
at RK Stadium.
That wasn't the one where Bono fell and broke his whatever and kept playing.
I don't remember. Maybe it may have been.
But she talks about going to see Bono and something, he slipped and fell, and like later they learned that he dislocated
his arm. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Wow. Okay, we got some comments here.
All right, here we go. Let's go.
Jim said, first
concert, Charlie Daniels, 1978. I love it. That's definitely the Devil Went Down to Georgia tour.
Yeah, definitely. Live 105 Christmas Bash in San Francisco, Jennifer says. I like that. She brings up her.
So who was on the
who was
bill,
on the bill?
Jennifer?
I'm wondering that too. Yeah, hold
Who
on.
was playing? I got to know this now.
We got more people.
See, Chris went to go see. My first show was Aerosmith.
Concert. There will be no opening act.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I saw Aerosmith. Let's see. Jennifer said I saw Matchbox 20 before they were big and bumped into Rob Thomas as I was coming out of the bathroom. LOL. It was at the Fillmore. Amazing show. Yeah.
Amazing.
You're great.
You're great.
Zach said Garth Brooks in 2007. Nice. Very nice. Joanna said, I saw Madonna back in 1987. Foxborough Stadium. That's what she was at. She was at the height. 5 rows from the last row in the stadium. She looked wonderful.
Same thing as John Denver.
There you go. There you go.
Squish you.
Oh, Jim says the Cars played at my college spree day, May 1976, before their debut album in 78. Oh, you saw them before they were big. I'd have to say that was another. I'm sorry. And I love the Cars and I own every one of their albums. And I actually gave the entire CD collection to my younger daughter and said, here, this is me. Okay. All right. This is what I'm all about. This band. I love these guys. But when they played Merriweather Post Pavilion, it was on the. Don't tell me. Was it first album is the Cars, second one is Candio, third one is I'm looking Panorama.
Oh, okay.
It was the Panorama tour.
Okay.
Man, and it was the first show of the tour. Rick Ocasek didn't talk to the crowd at all.
Was it not good?
No. And you got to think a lot of their harmonies on the production of the record, and I think I've said it before, even on this podcast, was done by Roy Thomas Baker. And Roy Thomas Baker was the producer of Queen. So, of course, you're going to get those big, fat harmonies. Voices were double, triple, quadruple tracked. Yeah. So you hear on Cars, You're Alive, Got Tonight, that whole fat harmony. Well, you can't reproduce that on stage. I mean, they try. Everybody's singing their part, but it's just.
Well, you can now. You can now.
Yes, because you cheat. But they weren't cheating then. So. Yeah. It was not a lot of stage presence. They just kind of stand there and played and jammed, and they were note perfect. And it was okay, but it wasn't a woo. What a great time! And they played like an hour and 5 minutes and done.
Right.
So I was a little disappointed. I went back to see them again at Hershey Park.
How'd that go?
That was after the Heartbeat City tour, and that's when Robert Mutt Lang was their producer. So they had all of the electronic hello again, all of that.
Like proper triggering and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, of course, now all the harmonies were there.
Okay.
So,
nice.
Well, all the songs from that album. Oh, Heartbeat City, here we come. I love that album, but it wasn't the same as it. And so it was a little disappointing. But who did I see? Now, I'd be cheating because in radio, I got to see all these acts as they were coming up. So I'd have to say I got to meet and see perform in intimate settings. From 2007 on, it would be Colby Calais and Sarah Bareilles and Ingrid Michaelson, and Adele was 19 when she came in off her first album. So she only had Chasing Pavements was the first song. So she had to spend the majority of the interview explaining what Chasing Pavements means.
Oh.
So
a dealer.
So that's kind of cheating on my part. So I take all of that back. But an artist that I saw before they were big, would have to be okay. And this would be one that your wife would attest to.
I've got another one too. Go ahead.
She saw, and you're being a Philadelphia boy, Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers.
Right.
I saw at the Bayou in Georgetown, and they were unbelievable. It was before they got signed to Columbia Records, and Columbia Records ruined them.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other podcast. But that was they were fantastic. That was unbelievable. Tommy Conwell was unbelievable.
Saw 10,000 Maniacs
at the
University of Dayton before they had their first major release. I was like, who are these freaks?
Right.
I just had no idea, and they kind of gave off a different vibe, and I'm like, I don't know. Now, I might have walked out, maybe.
Oh no,
I might have.
Well, speaking of Foo Fighters, and I was
Foo Fighters.
when we went to go see them and where we were the Post, and I forget how many years ago, it
Yeah.
was like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Mhm.
The opening act I had heard of but never seen, and they weren't very big. And they're really now just starting to come into their own. But I've never seen a band, an opening band, have people who had no idea who they are standing on their feet, clapping along to songs they've never heard before
Mm.
as he's getting him. And he was a cheerleader for the Foo Fighters. They're coming out just a little bit. Who's ready for Foo Fighters? All right, let's do another song. They go into another song, and that's the Struts. The Struts
Okay.
are an amazing band. Look them up, listen to some of their stuff, but they were great. So before they hit him like super big, they had a recording contract, but still. And he's very much has the Freddie Mercury vibe and the look and just his stage presence and even the voice, and was just amazing. So the Struts, I'd have to say, would be
Nice.
somebody I saw before they were huge, opening for Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
Foo
You
Fighters.
can say that from now on.
I am now. That's true. So
Yeah.
years ago, years and years and years ago, Greatest Wife Ever and I, but mostly she, owned a flower shop in here in Middletown. And because the Greatest Wife Ever is a florist, I've told you that before. We owned a flower shop. And digging around in the basement, she found this thing. And we were going to have one of our big Christmas party. Well, I'll explain in a second.
Okay.
We were going to have one of our big Christmas parties,
Right.
the Ross Christmas Party Extravaganza. And in that part of the or the focus, the finale, the highlight, the pinnacle is the Yankee gift swap. All right. And that's where everybody brings
Right.
a wrapped present,
Yes.
$10 or under.
Yep.
And you open it up. And if you don't like it, then you can grab somebody else's present or you open up a new one, whatever. So it's a lot of fun. And every now and then somebody would throw in something of some value. Like there was a iPod Shuffle one time and everybody wanted that because they had got it as a present from work. So they threw it into this gift swap because they didn't need it.
Right.
They were Washington Redskins, which was the name of the football team before they were the Commanders. Washington Redskins, right? Yep, tickets, all that stuff. And then, so my Greatest Wife Ever had found this thing in the basement of the flower shop, and so she wrapped it and put it in the Yankee gift swap. And we've called it the Japanese spanking paddle because it has a. Well, let me show you. So,
oh, we've got show and tell here.
It's show and tell.
Show and tell time.
Okay. So it's got a look, it's a bas relief sculpture. That's
Okay.
padded, that's real fabric.
Right.
And and it's on a paddle. Okay.
Right.
And we didn't know what it was. I mean, we just put it out there. So
no idea.
So the next year, oh no. So the people who got it that year left it there. And we were like, oh no, you're not leaving your gift here. So we went and ding dong ditched it and left it on their front porch and we bolted.
Okay.
So the next year they re-gifted it at the party, of course.
As well,
and now it's become a tradition now, the Japanese spanking paddle. So then I had to look it up. So I'm like, what in the world is this? And I don't know if it's pronounced. Well, the American version is Battle Door, Dore, I think. And it's Hagoita or Hagoita. I don't know. But it's a game you play in Japan.
What?
And yeah, it's a game and you use the paddle to smack a ball back and forth with a partner. And if they miss it, then you get to mark their face with a magic marker. I may have told this story already at Christmas time. Greatest Wife Ever is at Goodwill yesterday.
Yeah. And found a new one. It's spanking.
Bought a new one, $4.49.
What about it?
She bought it. She sent a picture to the family text, and she bought it. And I'm like, why? Why did you buy it? So it's actually going to be a gift for somebody, which is going to be pretty cool. I think we're going to give it to the daughter, the younger, and her group of friends, and she can start her own tradition if she wants to. Or they can just start smacking people with it. I don't know. It's up to them. But I just thought that was funny. For years and years, we didn't know what this was. We just called it the Japanese spanking paddle for years. And the people who got it would, and then we turned it into an automatic invitation back to you have to come back to the party the next year. And if you can't come back, you have to send the paddle back. We've had that happen a couple of times where they couldn't come, but they sent the paddle anyway. So we could recycle it. So
Okay.
anyway, I just thought it was hilarious that she found this yesterday at the Goodwill.
Yeah, see, here I had thought that was, you had somehow ended up with it during the Yankee swap last year, but this is a new one.
This is a new one, a new and different one. A new,
incredible.
I know.
Now, if I'm out shopping somewhere and I find one of those, I'm going to have to buy it.
Right? Is what I'm screaming.
Right.
So they have these apparently in Japan, in Tokyo, because the daughter, the younger,
I'll be there.
is going to Japan.
Same. When's she going?
She's going in August.
Oh, okay.
But apparently around Christmas time, they have these big, huge festivals with streets lined with, you've got your pop-up tent, and you sell your higuitas, or I don't know how to pronounce
spanking paddles,
your battle door, your spanking, your Japanese spanking. But it could be anybody on the front. They have baseball players from the Tokyo Tigers or whatever are on the front.
I'm going to have to look for one for you now.
Yes, I do.
I'm there in 1, 2, 3 weeks from now.
You're going to Japan in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to send you the video that I just sent to the daughter of the younger, which was Japanese street food. I love looking at these videos on YouTube of Japanese street food.
Yeah, send it.
All the different stuff that they make on the street. I'm like, you have to go here and get this. It looks delicious. I don't know what's in it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
it looks amazing. Probably not good for you, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because we're going to switch gears because it's time.
Be ready.
The great man of working. Fire off the synapses. Engage the frontal lobe. Form new neural networks. Utilize the cerebrum. As Pooh says, it's time to think. It's the dun question of the day, and it's for pride, not prize. Here we go. Today's question of the day. Completely switching gears. Okay. Wow. Going to American history now.
Yeah, what happened there? So much for theming, but I don't know how we ended up there.
Let's go to non sequitur.
Okay.
What city was the first capital of the U.S.? There you go. Very simple. What city was the first capital of the United States of America? John, I know what you're thinking, and you're wrong.
Yeah, you're right. I am thinking that, and I had a feeling it would be wrong.
All right, put your answers down in the comment section. Good luck. I didn't mean to blow off the fact that you're going to Japan, John. We're gonna get into that much more in depth.
Oh, it's
in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because
I mean,
it's gonna mess with our taping schedule a little bit.
I'm sending you a list. No, I understand that. Yeah. And I'm fine, whatever. And I'm sending you a list of things I want you to do for me in my stead as I live vicariously through you.
I will try.
In Japan. I have a list. It's gonna be it's not long.
As long as it involves 2 Disney parks.
It's like 5 or 6. What? Are you going to Disney parks while you're there? I guess so.
Oh, heck yeah. Are you kidding me?
Why?
I mean, because the greatest Disney park in the world, Tokyo Disney Sea, is there. First of all,
it's better than Disney World in Orlando.
Yeah, that's what.
Why?
Because Tokyo Oriental Land Company owns a majority stake of those parks, and they spend a lot of money. Like where we cut corners in the States, when we're developing a ride, you know what? The guests won't notice that. They won't notice. Yeah, we can cut that. We can cut that. They're like, how do we add more to this?
Well, man,
so it's taking that to a next level, and I have to see it. I will never probably make it back there. Who knows? You just have to assume that it may be the only time you'll go there.
Okay, this is for our Japanese podcast, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. But I'm with you, John.
All right.
All right. But right now, let's see if we can get an answer to the key. No, it's not the key question of the day, is it? It's the question of the day.
Wow. Hashtag wow.
That's a radio station. It's a radio station. Look, it's Key 103. There.
I know. There they are.
It's a radio station.
Listen to Ron, by the way. Afternoon Drive on Key 103.
3 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 7.
On the Red Didio internet.
And the most music. And,
most music. It's amazing.
And we have a lot of fun. You can play the games too. You can call in and play and answer the key question of the day. And you can also we play the movie game and we play all of the other games.
Okay. All right.
Younger, all that stuff. Okay.
We've got a couple answers.
Here it is. The question of the day. What city was the first capital of the U.S.? And the answer is, who is it? Jim says Richmond. That is incorrect, but a good answer, Jim.
We don't have a lot of guesses. Did we really stump people? Because Jim then guessed again. New York City.
That's correct.
Is it?
Get a rope. That's from the Pace. New York City. That's correct. Yes, it was the first capital.
All right. Well, Jim did get that. So
that's actually Washington was inaugurated in New York City.
I did not know that. Yeah, and of course, I was going to go to Philadelphia, Philippi.
Right. Exactly. And I think at one time, and well, so many cities have been. Williamsburg was the capital for like 10 minutes. Williamsburg, Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. For a little bit, but I think it was before the American Revolution. It was the capital of like the colonies, whatever. I could be completely wrong, but I looked that up and I'm like, I don't know if a whole lot of people, I don't know if a whole lot of people get it. Well, he'll know.
He would know. Gregor would know.
Well, he's the history teacher.
He is.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was very interesting because I love Americana and American history. And I mean, like who was the first president to live in the White House? Think about it there. First president was George Washington. He did not live in the White House. There was no White House. There was no Washington, D.C.
Was it Adams?
It was John Adams. There you go. Nice job. Woohoo!
Nice.
Right.
I think I saw that as part of the great documentary, the HBO documentary, Adams, like the docu-series or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti and what's her name? Gosh.
What else did she play? What else did she play, John? Help me.
Well, actually, she was in what is her name?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Who played Abigail Adams or whatever her name was?
Yeah. It was I love her too.
Not that much.
No, well, the second I said it, it was like shunk. Gone.
Yep. My brain does it to me.
That happen
all the time. But we're watching. I'm trying to. Speaking of Philadelphia, and I think I told you we went to Philadelphia. My daughter, the younger, lives in Philly, and we went to Philly this time last year, and had a wonderful time. We did all the touristy things, and we rode in a double-decker bus, and we went to see the Independence Hall, which is a lot smaller than you think it is. It's everything is a lot smaller than you think it is.
Laura.
We didn't see the Liberty Bell, but we've seen the Liberty Bell before, and they had moved it. It's not where I remembered it being before.
No, it's in a glass thing.
Yeah, but they had moved it. They had moved it since then too. It had been taken out of obviously it was taken out of Independence Hall, and then it was moved to this one place, and then they moved it again to another visitor.
Where have they moved it now?
It's right next to where it was, but it's another big long building along the side of the like mall grass that's in front of Independence Hall.
Okay.
And it's off to the right. But anyway, we saw all of that cool stuff, and I had no idea. It really didn't. I mean, I knew of the man, but I didn't really know of all of the great things that Benjamin Franklin did. And he was never a president, never wanted to be president, never ran for president, all of that stuff.
Right.
But then when we got back to Philadelphia, we learned all these things. We watched the PBS documentary about Ben Franklin, and it was fantastic. I learned all of these things. I didn't know he came up with the currents in the not the jet stream. What's it called? In the MC? Now it's happening to me, John. You cursed me. In the Atlantic Ocean, the warmer currents that run east-west. Anyway,
it's not the Gulf Stream. It is
Gulf Stream.
Oh, Gulf Stream. Okay.
Yeah, Gulf Stream waters.
Okay.
That come
Right.
up in yeah.
I got you.
Anyway,
Yeah. He was
'cause
quite the inventor.
well, he invented the lightning rod and then he gave it to the public instead of trying to sell it and make money off of it
Mhm.
for the greater good. He gave it, he donated it to the public so that anybody can just put a lightning rod and avoid being hit by lightning, especially on chimneys and stuff like that.
He also
Invented the lightning rod.
did readers too.
What's that? Readers, right? Well, bifocals.
Yeah, bifocals. Yeah.
Bifocals and he founded the University of Pennsylvania. He founded a college and he was the president of the college.
Yeah.
He was the first postmaster general. He invented the it was just the first library.
And he was a heck of an ambassador that traveled back and forth many times.
Okay. Speaking of which, so Greatest Wife Ever and I are trying to watch. We saw this was coming on. It's just called Franklin. And it's Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
Playing Benjamin Franklin, who, all right, let's be honest, it doesn't really bear a passing resemblance to Benjamin Franklin. I mean, you just have to accept the fact that he's Franklin.
Got it.
But it's the whole story, the chronicle of him going over to France to secure their help to win the American Revolution.
Yeah. And
I haven't finished it yet because it's very dry and long, and a lot of the dialogue is in French, and Greatest Wife Ever doesn't want to read. I don't want to read it. You're reading. I'm trying to have some of my French come back to me. It's not happening. And, so you're reading all the subtitles, but they're going by so quickly. You're like, I can't. You had to pause it. And what did he say? And excuse me. Hold on.
Wait. Greatest Wife Ever.
Yeah.
Chimes in.
Yeah. But he was in France the entire American Revolution.
Yeah.
Trying to cajole and if you watch this, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but basically at the end of this documentary that we saw, the reason why Franklin does not get a lot of credit for securing France's help, because without France, we would not have the United States.
Cool.
France was the reason we beat British. It was their navy that cut off Cornwallis. It was their, but we had to, if we had Washington as our hero, then we did it ourselves. All right. If you had Franklin as our hero, then we couldn't have done it without the French, which was the case. And so Benjamin Franklin kind of got elbowed out.
He's pretty.
Franklin was revered, or Washington was revered.
Significant figure, though, in American history, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think
he ain't no George
enough credit.
Yeah, I think so.
Not get enough credit for all of the things that he did.
He apparently was quite the ladies' man too.
Yes, they did. And while he was in France, the second time, and he was there with his grandson.
Yeah.
And his son was a governor of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And there's a whole thing there. Again, I didn't want to get too far in the weeds, but the thing I found fascinating about Franklin, and yes, Franklin, as were many of the forefathers, he was a slave owner. And then he became after the Revolution. Then he became an advocate for the abolition of slavery. So, I mean, you can look at it and say what a great guy he was, but then you have to look at that and go, well, okay.
Clearly, these guys were flawed. Nobody was.
Yeah,
they're
right. Yeah, I know exactly.
More significant than others.
But it's pretty. But still, it's pretty amazing when you look at the history of all of that. But anyway, I digress. We tried to watch Franklin. We were talking about American history. Tried to watch it, and it's just dry. It's dry and long.
Yeah, better off watching the HBO series on Adams, which gives you some of the background into that.
Now we did, and we are currently, and we did this on Saturday, and it's been a long time since we've done this. Saturday was going to rain. We weren't doing anything. We didn't want to go out. We weren't going out to see any bands or any of that stuff. And we didn't want to go out to eat or any of that stuff. So we sat and we watched Poldark, which is a Masterpiece Theater or Masterpiece, PBS series. And it's about a British soldier. I think he was a sailor. He was in the Navy. Coming back after the American Revolutionary War, right? Comes back. America's won. and he comes back and he starts his life again. And it's very much a soap opera.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he starts his life as a miner. He owns a mine. And he's trying to mine for copper and stuff like that. And it's just all of the trials and tribulations. So we actually watched it all day. I mean, I looked at the clock on the VCR sorry, not the VCR, the VCR with the VHS tape.
Sure, I watched the VCR.
On the DVR.
The DVR. Do you have a
That
DVR?
Yeah, we have a DVR. Well, I mean, it's with the it's part of the cable box.
Cable box, right?
Yeah, right.
When
And
they
it was
set your DVR, like DVR used to be a separate thing,
right.
and now it's just built in.
Well, we used to have TiVo.
In most cases, it's in the cloud. Yeah,
TiVo.
TiVo. I love
TiVo was amazing. I loved TiVo.
Sorry, you were saying. You
Bloop,
said
bloop, bloop,
looked at the clock.
bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah, I know. Let me thumbs up something.
Then gong. Gong when you couldn't record something.
Bloop,
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
So
TiVo was great. It was a digital video recorder
before it existed.
Before then Comcast and whomever the cable, they decided, oh, wait a minute, we'll just sell it with our box. And then right. And then TiVo, I don't know. Do they still
they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone. So you spent the whole day binging this?
All day.
Wow.
All day.
Looked up and it was dark.
Yeah, I looked at the clock and it was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, oh my God, I've been sitting in this chair for 12 hours. I mean, we got up and ate, and we ate a lot of popsicles. That's our new thing now, by the way.
Yeah.
Is popsicles. I think I've talked about this, right? Why can't you get what does this say? Zach says Ron Ross rapping musical about Franklin. When? Well, that's a good point. That's a really good point, Zach. I'll have to get on top of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I did. By the way, I did watch this. The new Jerry Seinfeld.
Do we have time? We have time. All right, we have time.
We have to get out on time. Literally, I have to go like at noon. Right, you have a minute and 50 seconds.
5-second review. All right. Jim says he watched Unfrosted on Netflix, Jerry Seinfeld movie. Pretty clever and funny. It's about the story of how Pop-Tarts were invented.
Yes.
All right, John, 5-second review and go.
Funny, like the old airplane movies. Some of the jokes fell flat. Some were fantastic. Loved it in the end.
All right, my 5-second review.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Oh,
I just thought it was too silly, and I thought I was going to get the real story. Bait and switch.
Oh, no, I absolutely knew that this was a documentary, kind of a la Spinal Tap and stuff. Now you need to go back and watch it.
No, I don't.
Knowing that.
No, I absolutely do not now.
I didn't think Spinal Tap was funny the first time I watched it.
So many stars in it, too. It's like Jerry Seinfeld came a call in and they're like, oh, yeah, we'll be in it.
Don't listen to Ron, folks.
Totally listen to me, folks.
No, don't listen. If you loved the kind of belly laugh movies you used to go see in the theater, and it would have been, by the way, much funnier if it were in a theater with people around you laughing than just kind of chuckling to yourself. I felt it was funny. There were plenty of good jokes in it.
I thought I was going to get the story of Pop-Tarts. Instead, I got this silly, and it was silly. And a lot of the sense of humor was silly. I mean, if I know that's what I'm getting, then yeah. Well, but again, that's not what I thought it was going to be. Greatest wife ever and I look at each other. You want to turn it off? You want to turn it off? I said, nope. I want it. This is my idea. I want to see it all the way through to the end. Right. See what happens.
All right.
And
on that lovely note.
But I did want Pop-Tarts.
I know, right? Jelly.
I totally wanted to go and buy a Pop-Tarts unfrosted. I don't like
jelly-filled Pop-Tarts.
I don't like the frosted. Okay, so John's got to go. I got to go. We got to go.
Work. So
I know. You got a job. I get it. All right, that's wonderful.
So
all right, listen. Thank you so much. Same bat time next week, John.
Let's see. No, we're gonna have to do something. Well, I don't know. Maybe, probably not. We're gonna.
All right. Keep your eye on the Facebook page and on YouTube. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. I cannot thank you enough. I really do appreciate that you have any kind of interest in any. Speaking of silliness, silly little things that we would have to say at all.
Yep.
So again, your presence is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. You can always leave a message if you want. Our phone number is 240-415-9090, 240-415-9090. You can give us a thumbs up. You can give us a 5-second review of Unfrosted or anything else you've watched, which is perfectly fine. And we thank you so much. All right, John's got to go. I got to go. Listen, please take care of yourselves and each other. Please be safe. John Yaglensky, Ron Ross, love you, mean it.